look at adding fractions with like denominators. So the first step when you are adding fractions is to check the denominator and make sure they are the same. Our example is 3/10 plus 5/10. We can see that the denominator, or the number on the bottom, is exactly the same in both. So each problem is talking about something that's divided into 10 equal pieces. This one has 3 out of 10, and this one has 5 out of 10. When we add them together, so if you imagine a pie or a pizza cut into 10 slices, and we have 3 left over, and someone else has 5 left over, how many do we have all together? What we're going to do is rewrite the problem, 3/10 plus 5/10. And now, since the denominator is the same, we can keep that exactly the same, because we're still talking about tenths. We're just going to add the number of pieces. So just like I mentioned, if you had a pizza with 3 leftover slices and someone else had an identical pizza that was cut into 10 slices and they had 5 left over, you would simply add the slices. 3 plus 5 over 10. When we add those, then we have a new numerator, which is the sum of the two other numerators. We now have 8, and the denominator stays exactly the same, 8/10. Now, we're not completely done, because the last step is always to simplify your fraction. Alright, so I'm going to take 8/10, and I notice very quickly that they are both even numbers, and they have a common factor of 2. So I'm going to divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. Remember, I'm not actually changing the value, I'm just simplifying. 2 over 2 is the same as dividing by 1, which we know doesn't change anything. So 8 divided by 2 is now going to be 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. My answer would be 4/5. Now, if we look at an actual physical model of this, we can imagine these candy bars over here. You can see I drew 2 bars. They're divided into 10 equal pieces, both of them. This one has 3 of the 10, so we would call it 3/10. And this one has 5 out of the 10, so I would call it 5/10. And if I simply took my candy bars and took 3 over here and just placed them over here, let's see what happens. I'm going to take 1 out of this one and place it right here. Then I'm going to take another one from this pan and place it right here. And I'm taking the third one, erasing it, and placing it right here. Now, after we added them or combined them into one pan, you can see that I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces out of 10. That's 8/10. If I went a step further and actually divided this picture into 5 equal parts, or groups of 2, then I would divide right here, right here, right here, and right here. And you can see very clearly that we have 1 completely filled in, 2 completely filled in, 3, and 4 of the 5 parts, which would give us our simplified version of 4/5. Well, I hope this helped you with adding fractions with like denominators.